Do you ever have other people making negative comments about a decision that you have made? Whether it's something like letting your natural hair color come out, or maybe ditching diets for good, or whatever decision that you have made, sometimes people have some pretty strong opinions, and sometimes they make them known in your direction. So today I want to talk about how do we deal with these negative comments when people do not keep their thoughts to themselves. And let's be honest, sometimes it hurts. If we have not met, my name is Kat, and Ditching Diets and Die is all about my personal journey to stop fighting my body and start trusting it instead. So today I want to share two really valuable lessons that have helped me navigate when a person makes a comment that kind of stings, or just any negative comment in my direction in general. And then I also want to share the 3 things that I do that really help me when I find myself in those situations. So, what are they? The first lesson is it's almost always about them and not about you. I remember hearing much that feels personal is not personal. A lot of people are just, it's their own stuff. And when you do something that triggers a reaction from someone, it's often because there's some sort of insecurity or fear that brings up. And we all do this. We are not immune to doing this. Now, whether we say something, that's different, but we all get triggered by other people's decisions. For example, if 1 year ago, a friend of mine said, I'm going to grow out my gray in my 30s, immediately I would start thinking about all of my concerns if I were to do that. Because 1 year ago, I was not ready for this. I would have thought, am I washed out? Would I look old? Would it look terrible? I have no idea. All those unknowns would come up and surface for me. So what's happening when another person makes a comment is that you have somehow triggered these insecurities or these fears, and that person has chosen to make a comment in your direction. So when we recognize that their comment is a projection and that it's actually about them and not so much about you, that I find that can help a little bit. It reframes the whole situation of what is actually happening right now. Now, the second lesson that I find extremely helpful is this idea that these comments only land or hurt when they actually strike a nerve in us. So if a person says something that you completely disagree with, or just it's not even on your radar, you don't even notice it. You don't register it as a negative comment, or maybe you know it's negative, but you can actually laugh it off. For example, if a person says to me, yeah, your hair is not actually gray. Well, I laugh because I know that that's not true. Or somebody says, oh, you're just ditching diets so you have an excuse to eat whatever the heck you want. I also know that's not true. So it doesn't hurt. And it just tells me more about their opinion than it does about why I'm doing this. So when we know this, then we can pay attention so that when something actually really does hurt our feelings, it's because we share some sort of insecurity or fear or worry about that thing as well. So when a person says to me, oh, you're not actually going to leave your hair like that, are you? That's a comment based on their insecurity. But when they say it to me, it taps into my own, which is, yeah, maybe I don't actually know the best way to do this. Maybe there are better ways that I could be doing this, and this could be a big disaster. All of those worries that I share, now they've struck a nerve. And so those comments are going to stick with us a lot more when they have somehow tapped into something that we also share. Now, when it comes to understanding these lessons, how do you actually put this into action? How is this helpful? Well, when a comment is made in your direction and it's negative and it hurts, here are the things that I do and I have found helpful. So the first thing is that I remind myself that it's their stuff. This is about them and their opinion, and they are projecting it. So it reframes the situation. So I remember that this is not necessarily a personal attack, even though it feels that way. This is about their opinion. The second thing I do is I want to ask, okay, why am I having this reaction? Do I share these worries? Is this something I'm also concerned about, and that this is why I'm having this reaction? It can kind of help me figure out what are some of the beliefs that I hold that are making me react so strongly to this, because there's probably a chance that you sort of agree with the thing that they're saying, or maybe you're afraid you agree or others do. So you probably share something there. So I find that helps when I can narrow that down and identify what's really hitting home for me. Now, the last thing I do is to remind myself why I made this choice. Because at the end of the day, there's a reason that I decided to do it. And when I can come back to my values and why I'm doing this and why this is important, then it actually lessens the power of the comment on me. Doesn't mean it still doesn't hurt a little, but usually if I can do this, I can actually get to a place where I'm reminded of, yeah, I'm doing this decision. It is for me. It is not for anyone else. And this is why it's important. And I'm going to move forward anyway. And that I find is really helpful to calm me down. And the other thing that happens is that often I can find a bit of compassion towards the other person that made the negative comment or that critical comment. I can actually just kind of wish them well and realize that this is about them. And yeah, I might have some of these same concerns, but I remember why I am doing this. Now, I would love to hear from you. What helps you if somebody makes a negative comment in your direction? Do you find any of the stuff that I shared today helpful? And as always, if you find this content valuable, or if you want to come along for the journey of the hair, then please subscribe and click the bell to be notified when there's a new video.